morning. This is JB Portillo, and I'm your host today for the Bella Vista Gardening Show. We're going to talk about what to do gardening-wise in February. And our special topic for the day is the Bella Vista Yard of the Month program. I have with me today a friend of mine and a fellow Bella Vista Garden Club member, Marion Heath. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing
good to see you this morning.
You too. Before we get started, I want to talk to you a little bit about an upcoming event we have going on. The Arkansas Flower and Garden Show will be held this month in Little Rock on February the 24th through the 26th. It's a great way to see what's new in gardening, and they have great seminars all during the show as well. The State Flower Show is part of the event, and you can Google that to find out all about it. It's really a beautiful thing, and I invite you to go. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the Yard of the Month program.
Yes.
I think we have maybe some slides to share very quickly so that we can tell everybody, first of all, what it is, how they can help, and what we look for.
Good.
Don't we have fun making that happen?
We do, because we don't just have joy in our own gardens, we have joy when we drive around and see other people.
Absolutely.
Their gardens.
That's right. So, why do we do this? Why did the Bella Vista Garden Club decide to sponsor a Yard of the Month?
Well, the Bella Vista Garden Club has our president has different goals to achieve when they are in term, and our president took it quite seriously. He's instigated some projects to do just that. And I will tell you that to make the Bella Vista Garden Club the standard bearer for the community beautification through landscaping is a high priority. But it's also to get everybody else involved in the community with learning more about doing your garden and showing off your gardens.
Yes.
So we had at our garden club, our first guest speaker was Mayor Christie. And his focus is beautifying the whole community of Bella Vista. That's
right.
So we were such a good match, and he was proud of what he was doing, but he also loved what we were doing as a club. And Tony, our president, just took the reins and created this committee.
Yes, if we could focus on the slides here for a few minutes, audience. Our goal is to promote goodwill and to reward all those folks who have actually taken such great pride in their yard. We want to recognize those neighbors. It's critical, don't you think?
I think so, because some of us may not know about these great neighbors and what they're doing because they're in little pockets of our community.
That's right. So, how do we choose? Now, you're on that team that makes that decision. What's the process? What happens?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of yards out there that you are passing that I'm not. And everybody on our committee has never seen that yard. But every time you go by, it puts a smile on your face.
Yes.
And we want to know about it. And the only way we're going to know about it is if we spread the word.
Right.
So we need nominations.
We do, and we're going to ask the audience for that today, aren't we? We're going to ask them to help us.
I know they will.
Yes. So are nominations for all the yard, or is it just the front and the side?
It's what you see from the curb.
Yes.
We've heard of curb appeal in real estate. Well, this is curb appeal for all of us who drive by.
That's right.
And so the nominations, and some people, you can see their side yard. And some people, you can see it from the golf course side.
That's right.
So don't discount it just because it's, if it's hidden, you'll have to invite us in. But we don't go with those.
Right. So are all homes in Bella Vista eligible?
Yes, that's the whole point. It's a Bella Vista yard.
Even though that little pocket that might have the Bentonville address, but still considered Bella Vista.
It's part of our Bella Vista community. Please nominate them. We don't want to leave them out.
That's exactly right. Okay, so what happens after we select the winner? What happens? What do they get from this? What's the joy in doing this for them other than showing off their yard?
Well, only right now their neighbors and themselves see it. But once we hear about it and we've chosen them for the Yard of the Month, we have a sign, a very special sign that's been Yep, there it is. We have a special sign, and don't worry about anything, about signs in Bella Vista. This one has been approved. So we have a sign. It'll stay on your yard for a month. And we have someone come out, if you're okay with it, and take a picture of you and your sign and your yard and put you in the paper. Now you have recognition all over Bella Vista.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about some winners we've had so far. All right. Now, the very first person, or the team, the man and wife that actually won were the Kennedys. And just look at the beauty of that yard. There is our great leader there, Tony Lacazzi, standing in front of the sign.
This yard, it doesn't give justice in these photographs. You have to go out and take a look at it. I discovered this yard long before we even thought of giving recognition through our club. And I was amazed at what this person did with, he actually has an extra lot. Not that you have to have a lot of room, but he did some very interesting and beautiful things in front of his yard and next door. And I smiled every time I went by.
Oh, I know. And, I actually had him on my Bella Vista and Beyond show, and he's a character.
Yes.
He's a real character. Okay, so that was September. That's when we started.
Yes.
And then in October, we had a totally different yard, right? Tell us about this one, because this one was very different.
This is someone who actually gave us a tour after he won, because we came out for the photographs, and he did a lot of interesting things with a little cemetery for golfers.
For old golfers.
He does above and beyond gardening, so you can think of the creativity that you like to do in your yard and implement that. He took a lot of pride in his yard, and it shows when you look at it, but it also shows on the twinkle in his eye when he takes you around.
Absolutely. You see his little putting green out there?
Yes.
This gets me into something later, because we're going to say that, you can nominate your own yard. This guy called me and said, hey,
yes,
can you nominate your own? I'm like, absolutely.
If you're proud, we want to hear about it.
Absolutely. Okay, so then we get to November. And I particularly love this one. Tell about the fact that the neighbor that was just driving by nominated them.
Yes, this is perfect. You drive by neighborhoods, whether you're visiting someone or your own neighborhood, and if you think they're worthy of it, we want to hear about it. Please give us a call.
If I remember correctly, this was a young girl who said she saw the call for nominations on Facebook, and she says, I have just got to brag on these people. I don't even know who they are, but I think they're awesome.
Yep.
So now I believe they're friends, right?
This brings community together.
It does. It does. And then in December, I think this was a fellow garden club member, correct?
Yes, and when this person was nominated, no one knew at the time that this was a Bella Vista Garden Club member. It wasn't until we did some more research, we voted this person in, and Georgia was proud to be, and yes, gardeners, maybe they have a little more edge, but that doesn't mean that and this is the first time.
Yes.
This is the first time someone in our club won, so you don't have to be a member. And don't discount your knowledge and your dedication to making your yard
Yes,
beautiful.
because we're not really looking for Southern Living contractor landscaped yards. They're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. But we're looking more for the love that the actual homeowner puts into this. This one, I have had so many golfers call me and say, have you seen that yard?
This sits on the golf course.
It sits on the golf course. So from the back side of it to the front side of it, this one is always noticed by everyone.
Yes.
And so we're very proud of all these folks. I don't believe we did one in January and one not in February.
No, it's Well, take a look at your own yard. There's not a lot of exciting things going on, and it's almost a disservice to say who does the best with browns.
Exactly.
So we just waiting for the spring when things start popping.
Okay, so now we're going to appeal to our audience here. We need their help, right?
Yes.
To find the next yard. So what would you say to them if how would you encourage them to nominate someone?
Well, we all travel around Bella Vista, and if it's a real good monitor. If you have a smile on your face or your head turns or you slow down, that's a yard that you want to nominate.
Exactly.
It may be one right in your neighborhood that you see every day, and it may also be a yard that may be on the way to visit someone. We don't see it. We're not taking the routes you're taking every day, so help us out.
And it's not up to us. We take in nominations, right?
That's where we
as a club don't go around and find the yards.
No, we may.
Yes.
We may, but we're taking the
nominations.
same routes every day. You're taking a different one, so please help us.
That's right. Help us locate worthy recipients, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so how do they do that?
That's easy. There's a website and a phone number to call.
Actually, it's an email address, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, we don't. It's an email address. If they go to our website, they're going to be searching for a lot of things.
Well, they can actually find it from the website.
That's correct. That's correct. They can find it there, but you can go directly to our email address, and someone will respond back and pass it on to us. And then, of course, you can call our phone number. And if any information, you do not have to know the name of these people. You may have the address for sure, but if you know their name, that will be very helpful.
It absolutely will. Let's just talk quickly about the fact, let's just say we had 5 nominations for a month. What happens to all those nominations that aren't selected?
We want to keep reviewing them.
Right.
And consider them for another time.
Exactly. So just because you weren't selected then, one of the things that I've heard is that when we are going around looking for yards to recognize, is that a lot of people are like, when you drive up, like, what are you doing here? We're very respectful.
Yes.
Yes. We identify ourselves immediately.
Yes. You'll know us. We will talk to you. We won't run away.
Right. Right.
And we are very good about letting people know. If we see you out in your yard, we'll engage in conversation with you and let you know. You may even recognize us with our Bella Vista shirt or our Bella Vista badge. So just know that that's what we're there for, is maybe snap a few pictures if it's okay with you, and keep the information to pass on. Well,
absolutely. If somebody just simply does not want to participate, we respect that.
Yes.
But most people are all excited.
Oh, they're proud.
They really are. They really are. Okay, well, let's talk a few minutes about how to take care of things in the garden in February, because I don't know, it was 66 degrees yesterday. I
think spring is coming, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. And we may have another couple of little spells, but I don't know about you, but I was able to clean out half of my garden beds the other day and enjoy it. I didn't even have a coat on. It was great.
This is the time to get out and enjoy it. But we have a lot of things to consider when we have our garden, and you got annuals and vegetables. This is a good time to flip through the catalogs and start ordering. You don't have to be in your garden to do that.
No.
And think about trying something new this year that you haven't ever done before. So maybe a vegetable that is a favorite, but you haven't thought about growing it.
Right.
And you have anything to tell people about houseplants?
I do. Houseplants right now, they've been overwintered. They're in an environment that's probably maybe too warm. You don't want to put a lot of fertilizer, things like that, during their little spell in the house. You can do that later when it's time, but one of the things you want to do right now is not overwater, because that's just as bad as not watering enough. And then also watch for spider mites. Those little burgers are just incredible. Now, I believe all lives are worthy, But spider mites sometimes I have a little bit of a problem with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to say something about houseplants. We don't always think about it, but this may be a good time if you're thinking about having herbs or you can start something with seed.
Absolutely.
If you started from seed, it's got the sunshine coming in one of those windows, the house is the right temperature, and then you are ready to plant.
Absolutely. And let's talk for a second about our butterfly lady. Allison Culberson has already started her milkweed.
Yes.
Inside, of course. She just flutters around everywhere. She's awesome, by the way. Also for your yard, it's a good time to apply lime if that's needed. Now, what I recommend, I'm also a master gardener, so I want to remind people in Bella Vista, Northwest Arkansas, that in Benton County in particular, your tax dollars have already paid for a soil sample.
Yes.
So if you really want to see what's going on in your yard, take a sample of various places in your yard and take it into our extension office on 102. And they will analyze it for you and send it back and tell you what it needs. Did you know that?
I didn't know the details, so thank you,
Yes.
because we haven't done that. And then you know what to give your yard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about roses? What happens with roses?
Roses, this may be a good time to apply a dormant spray. Now, as far as clipping any of them and trimming them, take in consideration we might have a freeze.
Yeah.
So don't think about doing it too soon. Wait till the end of February, maybe early March, because as soon as those roses start to get the sunshine, they're going to start sprouting, and they may get frozen, and that'd be a defeat.
Absolutely. As far as trees and shrubs go, right now you want to monitor the moisture. Trees, even trees, you think that they're just out there on their own and they get whatever they need. They may need some moisture. So we've had enough, I think. We've had some, but remember too that they need moisture, and so do your shrubs. You can actually plant trees and shrubs now as long as the ground's not frozen. Late in the month, you can fertilize. And then we won't even go into what to prune, because I think we'll wait a little bit on that. We can't do a generic when to prune certain things, because a lot of things have their own time. Certain plants that are budding now, you don't want to prune them until after they bloom, etc. So we'll talk about that in another show. What about perennials?
Well, the most perennials, right now, they can be divided up, and they can be replanted in February, so you can be active in your garden with that. But it's more beneficial to wait until late February again, or early March. See, February is a fickle month.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, and we think it's springtime, but then it fools us with a little freeze. So
We get too anxious, don't we?
we're excited.
Yes, absolutely. Also grass, those ornamental grasses that you have in your yard, like just yesterday, I went ahead and cut them down to the ground, because even though they're pretty, and I left them up in the winter so that the birds would have something to eat, and they look kind of good swaying in the breeze, I cut them all down because eventually what's going to come out of that turf is brand new ornamental grass. Okay. Now your yard's another story, depending on what you have. You just got to be patient and let that happen. But I'm talking about like the tall, decorative grasses that you grow. I noticed walking my dogs the other day that they've even kind of done that on the golf course. Well, they have a lot better equipment than I do, because I'm out there with my scissors cutting it by hand. But that's okay, it all works, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, winter is a good time, and it still is winter, to grab that hot chocolate or iced tea, or not iced tea, hot tea really, and curl up with those catalogs like you were talking about before, because you can dream. Spring just gives you such hope, doesn't it?
My favorite season.
And even though you might have failed last year or thought you did, you have hope because it's spring and it's time to start over again. Now, while you're online, remember that there's also a Master Gardener website, and the University of Arkansas itself has great publications on taking care of all the things we talked about today and much, much more. So I always recommend that we make use of that great facility. The next meeting for the Bella Vista Garden Club is on the 22nd. It's always the fourth Wednesday.
That's an easy way to remember.
Yes, and we meet at 11 o'clock at the United Lutheran Church on Cooper Road, right there at the intersection of Forest Hills and Cooper. We've been there for a long time, and it's a nice, warm place to be once a month. We have great members.
Yes.
Talented.
It amazes me the talent that comes out of any project that has to be done. It's almost like it's hidden talent within them because no one is bragging about it, but when it's needed, it pops up.
It really does. I think the speaker this time is going to be Sarah Sparks from the Artist Retreat Center, and she's going to be talking about Native American foods.
I'll be there.
I know. I will too. And for more information, you can also go to our website at the Bella Vista Garden Club. All right, so let's talk about marking your calendar for a few things that are coming up. The Benton County Master Gardener Expo, the Lawn and Garden Expo, is always the last Saturday in April, and that's where to get all your plants. And I say that because the plants that are sold there come from our members' gardens. You know, we have one. Bella Vista Garden Club has a plant sale that we're going to talk about in a minute, but also the expo has plants that are mostly native, and we know they live and they grow here because we dug them up and brought them in, and we're selling them to you.
And where's this?
This will be this year on April the 29th, and it's always at the Methodist Church just off of the square in Bentonville. It's off of...
That's easy to find.
Yes, it is, and it's huge. I always recognize it by the fact that in October there are hundreds and hundreds of pumpkins sitting out there on the lawn. So if you remember that part of it, and then there's just all kinds of really cool things. We, meaning the Bella Vista Garden Club, have our plant sale on May the 7th. And our Butterfly lady is all about that. She is a major plant sale person and takes great joy in it. And that will be at the Village Wastewater, right?
Yes, that's
right. Along Bella Vista Way, going down the road toward Walmart and Jane, right?
Easy to find.
It is. It really is. Okay, so also I want you to tell them, you do a little special project every year. Can you just give us kind of a little nutshell about what it'll be a while, maybe in May sometime, but tell us.
Well, every year, the Arkansas Federation Garden Club clubs send out to each of the individual garden clubs throughout the state information about an art contest. This art contest is for our 1st through 12th graders. And as a representative for this project, I send out the information to all of the Bentonville art teachers throughout our school district in Bentonville. The response is artwork that comes back. The contest asks the children to choose one of 2 of the birds that we see here in Arkansas. They always pick 2, and they get to choose which one. And their art teachers guide them through this whole process. It's not something where they just sit down and do it in one lesson. It takes weeks so the artwork that comes back is so beautiful. And my pride isn't because of what I do. My pride is what the teachers do and what the children do as a result of it. Every year, since I've been doing this for the past 6 years, we've always had winners.
Oh.
Even if it's one. Now that's a big deal when you think about the whole state of Arkansas.
Yes.
And every year I think, oh, this is great. They get a certificate, they get their ribbon, and sometimes, depending, they may get a little cash. But every year what I want is for them to be recognized. And so I try to find some venue to put them into for honoring them. And usually it's like the Bella Vista Library or the Bentonville Library or some of our projects. And even at our meetings, we invite the parents, the teachers, and the kids. But I've always wanted to do it bigger. So I'm working on it.
Yes, you are.
I have some irons in the fire, so I can't tell you all the details right now, but watch for it in the spring. We're going to open this up so everybody in the community, we're looking to do it on a Sunday afternoon when people are more relaxed and they're not busy with a lot of projects. But everybody, the families, the teachers, the children can come and see this artwork proudly displayed. Now, you're saying, oh, you're going to have winners. Well, I don't know if I'm going to have winners. But what we're going to do is ask the art teachers to choose some special artwork.
And we'll feature
And
that.
so we're going to feature, not all of them, but we're going to feature them with an honor wall.
Right.
So that's what we're going with that.
Well, somebody just turned you on. I can tell you're excited about this.
The kids and the art teachers did.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Marion, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I hope Jerry will be proud of what we did for her today, because she's usually your host, and we love her to death. She's awesome. And I'm really hoping that we got across to everyone the importance of this Yard of the Month, because it is all about beautifying Bella Vista. So I hope, dear audience, that you have enjoyed today's show, and I invite you to stay tuned, take care of your yard, be happy, and don't forget to stop and smell the roses.